Day of Dead, one of my favorite chase-like games. I played more than Forsaken and some others, Corrupted Crossroads and so. I honestly like a lot this game. I even managed to get a mastery for Killjoy, and now we get a mastery for Pursuer. And maybe after that let's do a Artful, I don't like that guy. However, I honestly enjoy the game a lot. The characters, the killers, the abilities, I love it. And yes, that includes you, Artful. Even though I hate you, you are part of the thing that I like the most. This game. Congratulations, you exist. But we're not talking about that. To be more specific, the abilities of the citizens. When the round starts, the citizens can choose a card out of 3. This card, each of them have 2 abilities that can help them, either for self-defense, support, or mobility. But this mainly depends on, well, on what we'll choose. Sometimes there can be colored cards, which is mostly related to Caretaker, and they might have a little gimmick that adds them to the ability. Well, the one that is in Caretaker. And now, I'm gonna rank them, like a tier list. The first tier list of this time. But before we start, I just wanna say that this is more of my personal opinion. You can have a different opinion about this list, and that's okay. And nothing about this is supposed to be taken seriously, so yeah, don't take it with a grain of salt. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. Octot is a self-support ability. When using it, it recovers you 15 of your health. However, it decreases your max stamina by 10, so every time you use it, you get minus 10 of max stamina. You can even reach 0 stamina, even when you're at full health. However, it makes the body of the citizen that you're playing fatter, bigger? Yeah, bigger. Honestly, if I have to select this ability, I would rather just select it if I don't have any other choice. For example, when the 3 cards are literally have that ability. Yeah, that's how pointless it is for me. Adrenaline is the next ability, and the C tier now. It gives you a speed boost, but at the same time, it makes you unable to move for 2 seconds after using that said speed boost. Not really that much of an ability I will use, unless it was one bounce, which is pretty good, or if I didn't really have too much of an option if we have to talk about Octo. Yeah, I just don't really like using Adrenaline so much. Now in B tier we have Taunt. Makes the killer slowdown reveal its location to all survivors, while also making you invisible for a few seconds. However, you are vulnerable to critical damage, which means that you will receive more damage than you usually are supposed to receive. And if you fail the attack, then you are vulnerable to get hit by the killer. Usually this ability is good, but at the same time it can be bad, since unlike the stuns, you don't really stun the killer, you mostly highlight it but also slow it down. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, sometimes it can hit, with the exception of attacks that can actually deal damage over time, like Pursuers, Watcher, Backward Reef ability. With those you have to be careful. Carpal is spawned next, and in its order it can recover 5 of health each time you step on it. However, it has less duration than the bonus pad. So obviously in small amounts it can be very useful in a way, but if you have multiple care pads, layers, it could be pretty useful, especially in chases, since the killer will have a difficult time on killing their victim they're chasing and even reducing their health. Trust me, I know. but this is only if the killer doesn't really focus on the caretakers and instead of the victims. So yeah, the only disadvantage is that you have very less health, the lowest of health of all of the other classes or the card set. I don't know. It's either a good thing or a bad thing, but that depends on your game style. Block is the next ability, and what it does is that it blocks the damage of a killer, it nullifies it. It also, well, it gives you 10 of health if you are successful parry, and it can also block the bleeding from any type of bleeding. If we are talking about Pursuer's Butcher ability and Pathways Rift. However, Felinity is gonna give you Enlang and you're gonna be vulnerable to attacks. And the reason it is top in B is because it's the most useful out of the other three. Honestly, it can also disarm the killer for a few moments, which is good, since mostly stun abilities do that, I think. But yeah, it is mostly a good replacement for a stun ability and also good for self-defense. So you can probably do a lot of things with this ability if you know how to use it, that is. You need to have a good timing in order to use it in a very well way. Yeah, look is good. B tier. Look is the next ability in the A tier category, and honestly you can use it for different ways. You can turn invisible and lose track of the killer. You can even go through Artful Sword, which is very useful. However, Gildroid Harken can counter this ability. And also Health Plus abilities like the one of Atwer and Pursuer. So yeah, it's not really that much of a good ability like the rest, but it is very good if you know how to use it. Caretaker is next, and it kills 20 of health plus a little bit of overkill for a few times, but at the same time it gives you a total of 35% of health, of max health that is. And if I'm honest with you guys, this is probably one of the best abilities, and it was the only healing ability in the game before Care Pack. And it's still one of the best abilities in is 20 of health that you recover, which is very good, especially if you are a low health, and it is possible to actually know how to manage consequences if there are multiple caretakers, or the 70% of health can also be not so much of a trouble, unless you are being targeted by the killer or being mostly chased by it. But in other words, this ability is really good, seriously. The last one in 88 is Punch. What it does is that it stuns the killer, plus dealing 25 damage to it, either if it's stunned or not. However, missing it is gonna give you a lot of end lag. Out of the other abilities, this one is very useful since it's a stun. It's something that you can actually really use and benefit of it. Quite a lot, honestly. You can even use it to defend of your teammates, to avoid the killer to have more time into killing you and the others. However, the end lag is the only thing that is annoying, since if you miss it, then you are vulnerable to get the killer, get yourself killed by the killer by getting 2 free hits to it. So yeah, it's all about not missing the hit, and you can actually keep a distance from it. If only the killer is gonna respect your distance if you respect the distance of the killer, and you can stun it if it's necessary. The first ability in S tier is Bonus Pad. Gives you a speed boost to any civilian that steps on it, including you, and it actually lasts for 1 minute, which is very good. That's really good. However, it gives you a minus 10 of your health, so you only have 19 max health. What can I say about this? It's really good, especially also this can stack. The speed can stack, the speed boost can stack, it just can stack. It really feels good to be as really like, especially if you're trying to outrun a killer. These are mostly the most annoying to deal with it. They are the most annoying to deal against if you are a killer. However, they are really beneficial to your team, so you might as well protect him if you can. And the one in S tier is Dash. The reason of it is because, well, it gives you an impulse that can actually help you outrun the killer, but also it can also give you, well, it makes your stamina consume faster and you won't be able to regenerate it for a few seconds. However, it has a fast cooldown, so you can actually use it multiple times in order to escape the killer. And if I'm honest, this is a really good ability, especially with Harken, since you know how you're not supposed to move when it's meditation. Well, you can also use this ability, and another you can use it to dodge attack of the killer, which is pretty good, especially if you are trying to outrun them. And there are some places that you can actually avoid the attacks or use around, you know, like a shortcut. This is mostly seen in base play, but yeah, Dashi prefers to be in this position immediately because of that. How much he can actually benefit from the mobility of this ability. Hopefully that's not really too much of a mouthful if you think about it. But now the one in P tier, I think it's obvious which one it is. Revolver is one of the best abilities out of all the other builds. It's not only fun to use, but it's also pretty useful. If you want to play as Chen, but without the risk of dying, that is, why not you can with Revolver? Yes, it has a total of 30-second cooldown, but it's a pretty of shooting after that, and then it's a 50 after loading, so yeah. It has benefits, especially if you are against a killer and you are the last one standing. Not only that, but it has also a game mode where everyone gets a revolver. It is pretty fun to use it. Not only that, but this is probably the only ability that can actually kill killers faster, like Harken, Killroyd, Artful, that kind of stuff. In the, well, Outlaw, I think. So yeah, it's really fun. A lot of people like to use that ability. Should I tell you card content? So that was the tier list of all of the abilities in Die of Death. They might add more abilities and sometime soon, I don't know. But that's about it. If you guys enjoy, you can always subscribe, leave a like, and comment if you want. Share, that kind of stuff. This was my first time doing this kind of videos of a tier listing. So if it looks bad then, or it sounds bad, which is probably gonna be that one, then I'm sorry. I'm trying my best here. Honestly, I am trying my time. However, if you want to make your own list, like putting Hot Dog on a higher tier list or putting Revolver on a low tier, then you can always check up in the description, since I'm gonna leave the link to the tier list of all of the abilities in the game. Now without the way, hope you guys enjoy and see you next time in the next video.